And then you know what happened? I left the toilet seat up. And while sleeping, the toilet seat fall on bang. And I said, Bhuta preta pisach nikat nahi aave, Mahabir jab naam sunave. Some bhoot must have really followed me, because my bathroom seems to be haunted. But I created the problem. Because you know why? The thing I could have done good in the first place, I did it halfway. Anything that you can do good the first time, then you do it good. And anything you left undone, chances are you'll have to finish it. At some point, you'll have to finish it. Somebody else might have to finish it for you. So Hiranyakashipu, he plans in his mind, he has a sister. She has been given a vardhan. She has a lal chunarya, lal. She has a red urni. Yeah? And her urni has been blessed. You know why? If she goes and she sits on fire wearing this urni, she'll never get burned. So they create a chitta. Have you ever heard about a chitta before? What is a chitta? You ever hear about chitta? What's a chitta? Sonia, you know what is that? Ever went to Mosquito Creek? See the pile of wood? What do you use that wood for? Ever go to Queenam under the shed? Or one of those beaches with the shed? And you see the chulha and you see the wood? What is that wood for? You all know that? Sonia, you know that? Chitta refers to that cremation pyre, where cremation will happen. They make a pyre. The name of the sister of Hiranyakashipu is, what's her name? What's her name? Holika. She takes the child and places the child on her lap, and she goes into the fire with her urni, knowing that her urni will protect her. And as the fire is set ablaze, you know what will happen? The wind blows so hard, and the gush of wind that blows the urni off her head. And she begins to scream with pain, because the fire now is burning her. And all you can hear, beside the scream and the crackling sound of the wood in the fire, all you could hear is what? Hari Om Namo Narayana, Om Namo Narayana, Hari Om Namo Narayana,
Hari Om Namo Narayana, Om Namo Narayana, Hari Om Namo Narayana.
Hiranyakashipu is mad. He's upset. He's angry. Sister has died. The mad elephant has become tame. The lion is playing with the child. What kind of jadoo, what kind of magic is this happening? He's wondering. And then he puts his son to sit next to him on the throne. You're singing the name of Narayan. Where is Narayan? Tell me. Where is Narayan? Oh, yes. His name is Narayan. Where is Narayan? You know much people name godly, good name. And you know how they behave is? How they behave? How they behave? Like God? Huh? Say you don't know, you know. Let me get in trouble alone. Because remember, you all remember? The connection. Name is Lakshmi, you know. But the day after Diwali, Mother Lakshmi in KFC. Think about it. The name is Shiva. Shivratri and Juve always fall together, you know? Juve winding on the white line on the road. Shiva, you know. Everybody singing Om Namah Shiva in the mandir. And Shiva dong on the white line. Paint in blue. Water paint. Pay the devil, jab jab. Huh? Pay the devil. It's really the devil, you know. Name the child Veer. And here's Hanuman Jayanti. But we go in my arrow for the weekend. We go fast from 6 in the morning to 6 in the evening. And after that we go break we fast, right, Baba? Ain't that good? What good for you, great for me. Anything that is good for you, great for me. And you see, after I celebrate my birthday today, greater for me. Greater. Because I plan to be totally changed. I plan to become even nicer than I was in the past. Why you lift your eyebrow? Why everybody in the group lift their eyebrow like that? Hiranyakashipu. Tell me, where is your Narayan? Where is your God? And the child says, Sarva Vyapak, Antaryami, Ajar Amar. He's here, there, everywhere. Is your Narayan in the sky? Yes. Is your Narayan in the earth? Yes. Is your Narayan in me? You have God in you? Do you have God in you? Hello? Do you have God in you? You're not sure? But by the way you all reacting, I'm feeling to say, oh God. Do you all have God in you? You all have the devil in you too? Huh? Well, everybody say yes. I say God and you think it hard to answer. And I say the devil and everybody say yes. Huh? Always let the God and the good overpower the devil and the bad. Eh? That's the important thing. Always let the good and the God take charge. Hiranyakashipu looks at his son. He's angry. He's upset. You say God in me? Well, I want to tell you, your God is not in me. He said, God in you? He's asking his son, and the son says, yes, God is in me. He looks at the post, the pillar. He says, God in this post? And he says, yes, God is in this post, this pillar, this slab of concrete. God is in that post. He takes his son and he puts him on his lap. And he says, I want to see your God come and save you. And he takes his hand and he puts it around the throat of the child. And he's squeezing. And squeezing. You know what the child is doing? Hari Om Namo Narayana. Om Namo Narayana. Hari Om Namo Narayana.
Hari Om. Sitaram, everyone. I was specially asked to do this special song for a special child who's celebrating his birthday today, Adi Dev. He requested me to do this song before Pandit begins. Jai 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 Pandan Bhuvana Nandana Gauri Ganesh Dukh Dandana Pandana Harana Sundar Sumana Mahesh Ganesh Mahadev Kumana Adi Dev Sri Ganesh Mahadev Kumana महादेव को मना। आदिदेव ब्रह्मादेव निति निति कार, आदिदेव ब्रह्मादेव निति निति कार, मदन को तू देख सभी अंग अंग छायो। तीन का तीन का भया लगी आयो, तीन का भया लगी आयो। रविदास कर तू ज्ञान धम मन भाई। आदिदेव श्री गणेश महादेव को मना। आदिदेव ब्रह्मादेव निति निति कार, आदिदेव ब्रह्मादेव निति निति कार, मदन को तू देख सभी अंग अंग छायो। तीन का भया लगी आयो, तीन का भया लगी आयो। रविदास कर तू ज्ञान धम मन भाई। आदिदेव 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 श्री गणेश महादेव को मना।
Check one. Sitaram, everybody. It's blessed to be here at this part of Prince. So, it's a long drive from Sidra, so we have a where God is, we have to find ourselves. So today, I'm going to dedicate some beautiful songs to you all. Since it's from the late 1929 with singers that I did from 1944 and 54 and up to this way. One of the oldest classical singers to remain alive is myself alone. Let's go with this song done by the late great Utsav Khan. What is that? आँखों से दुनिया देखिए, मुख से ज्ञान सिखलाए, अरे हाथों में दान दीजिए, जीवन खुशी खुशी हो जाए। आए मथुरा की चोर, मथुरा की चोर कान्हा मेरे, वृंदावन बसी गयो, आए अब वृंदावन बसी गयो, मथुरा की चोर कान्हा वृंदावन बसी। मथुरा की चोर कान्हा मेरे, वृंदावन बसी गयो, वृंदावन बसी मथुरा की छोर कान्हा वृंदावन। जब से गई कान्हा और सखी योनाली ने, और सखी योना और सखी योना। जब से गई कान्हा और सखी योनाली ने, और सखी योना। हमको पिठारे लिखे, हमको पिठारे लिखे, बतिया करो कान्हा रबान बाकी। हाय रे बदरिया टपकी रही पूंजिया कान्हा, टपकी रही पूंजिया। टपकी रही पूंजिया। हाय रे बदरिया टपकी रही पूंजिया कान्हा, टपकी रही पूंजिया। पापी रे पपीना, पापी रे पपीना पिया मोरी करत गयो कान्हा रबान बाकी। मथुरा की छोर, मथुरा की छोर, मथुरा की छोर, मथुरा की छोर। वृंदावन बसी गयो मथुरा की छोर कान्हा वृंदावन बस। विनिषाद मां रतियो नहीं भावे, रतियो नहीं भावे। रतियो नहीं भावे। विनिषाद मान रतियो नहीं भावे, रतियो नहीं। कान्हा बिना कलप, कान्हा बिना कलप रब भय भोर। कान्हा बिना कलप, कान्हा बिना कलप रब भय भोर। वृंदावन बसी गयो मथुरा, आहा वृंदावन बसी गयो। मथुरा की छोर, मथुरा की छोर कान्हा मेरे वृंदावन बसी गयो मथुरा की छोर कान्हा वृंदावन बसी गयो। आय कौन समय धरती फाटे कि कौन समय आसमान। अरे कौन समय सीता हरण भय, अब कहाँ रहे भगवान। वो सतयुग में धरती फाटे कि त्रेता में आसमान। ये द्वापर में सीता हरण भय, वन में रहे भगवान। ओ भजो दशरथ राज कुमार, भजो दशरथ राज कुमार, जिनको महिमा अपरंपार, कोई पार नहीं पाया। भजो दशरथ राज कुमार, भजो दशरथ राज कुमार, जिनको महिमा अपरंपार, कोई पार नहीं पाया। सतयुग में राजा मनजू को सबसे किए पुकारा, पूर कला के दर्शन पाया, पूर कला के दर्शन पाया, सतरूपा मुनि प्यारा। त्रेता युग लिए दशरथ गृही में, त्रेता युग लिए दशरथ गृही में, धर्म हते अवतार, जिनको महिमा अपरंपार, कोई पार नहीं पाया। ओ भजो दशरथ राजकुमार, भजो दशरथ राजकुमार, जिनको महिमा अपरंपार, कोई पार नहीं पाया। उनकर बतलक सखी न कोई, सकती अगत पाया। बन बन में नंगे पर जाके, बन बन में नंगे पर जाके, भक्तों दास उबारा। सेत मांग सीता हर लाए, सेत मांग सीता हर लाए, रावण तुल को मार, जिनको महिमा अपरंपार, कोई पार नहीं पाया। भजो दशरथ राजकुमार, भजो दशरथ राजकुमार, जिनको महिमा अपरंपार, कोई पार नहीं पाया। उलकर माया सब जग छाया, उलकर माया सब जग छाया, जैसे भन उजियारा। ऋषि मुनि योगी कभी ज्ञानी, ऋषि मुनि योगी कभी ज्ञानी, भरमत में मतिहारा। ब्रजलापति की मूंज भजन करे, ब्रजलापति की मूंज भजन करे, आर करी भवधार, जिनको महिमा अपरंपार, कोई पार नहीं पाया। भजो दशरथ राजकुमार, भजो दशरथ राजकुमार, जिनको महिमा अपरंपार, कोई पार नहीं पाया।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
वृंदावन लाल की जय। Oh Bhagwan Vishnu, once more we come knocking at your door. Listen to our prayer. Accept our worship. We beg of you. We bow to you with faith, with love and with devotion. Be gracious unto us. Hari Om Viganeshwaraya Varadaya Suraprayam Bodharaya Sakalaya Jagathitaya Nagasrutyagya Vibhushita Gauri Sutaya Gananath Namo Namaste. Om Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangulam Gete Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Paramanandamadavam Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Chananda Gopakumara Govinda Namo Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Vrindavan Laal ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Snanam, we wash, we bathe the murti of Bhagwan with water. May you wash away our troubles, our problems, our distresses. With milk, may you grant us our desires and our wishes. We offer our love, our supplications and our plea. Be gracious unto us. Snanam, snanam samarpayami. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
To you who have blessed us with the gift of clothing, we offer clothing in our worship. Be pleased with us, O Bhagwan. We offer to you clothing. We offer to you the Yagyopaviti Jani. Wrap your shield around us. Vasrananam samarpayami. Yagyopavitanam samarpayami. Vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om namo bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
We offer chandan, we offer perfume. May you illumine the pathway of our lives. May you rid us of lust and anger and hatred and jealousy and ego and pride. May you guide us into the pathway of salvation, we beg of you. Chandanam sunalitam deva kante cham kavali Gopa Sri Paridevi Jayate Gopala Churamani गन्धद्वारा दुरदर्शं नित्य पुष्पकरीशिनीम् ईश्वरं तामहो श्रीगन्धदानं समर्पयामि गन्धदानं प्रतिगृहीता। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Parimaladravya, we offer Hardi for purification. We offer Sindhu, praying for Mukti, salvation. May we please with us, adorations at thy feet now and forevermore. Om Haridraranam Samarpyami, Om Sinduram Samarpyami, Om Narayanaya Vidmai Vasudevaya Dhimi Tanno Vishnu Prachodayat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
We offer strands of dukkhas, may you root away all our troubles, all our problems. We offer bail release through these knees, we offer our lives at your feet. We offer name these through these knees, we offer all our sickness, all distresses. May you be pleased with us. Om Kandat Kandat Purohante Puruka Purushaspare Evanu Durve Pratanu Nashaten Sahate Komaladanam Komaladanam Samarpyami. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ॐ नमो
वासी वासी शिवासिनी काल भैरव पूजातम कोटि कन्या महादानम बेलपत्र शिवर्पणम जयंती काली मंगला काली भद्रकाली कपालिनी दुर्गा क्षमा शिवा दात्री स्वाहा स्वधा नमोस्तुते। We offer flowers, we offer mala. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Achyutam Keshavam Ramanarayanam Krishna Damodaram Vasudevam Hari Sridharam Madhavam Gopika Ballavam Janaki Nayakam Ramachandra Bhaje Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Deepadanam Samarpyami Deepadanam Pratigraitam Aarti. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Siddhi Buddhi Prade Devi Bhukti Mukti प्रदायिनी मंत्रमूर्ति सदा देवी महालक्ष्मी नमोऽस्तुते या देवी सर्वभूतेषु लक्ष्मीरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः। We offer flowers around all the Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Naivedyam. We offer parsad that we have prepared with faith, with love and with devotion. One of my cousins, she's celebrating her birthday this evening as well, Shanta. And so Shanta has prepared the parsad that you're holding in your hand. We pray to Bhagwan, may you accept our parsad. And so with faith and with conviction, we bow to you. Be pleased with us. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Shantakaram Bhujagashenam Paramanabam Suresham Vishwadaram Gaganasarvesham Megabaranam Subhajam Lakshmikantam Kamalanenam Yogi Vidyayamanyam Vande Vishnu Bhavate Haranam Sarvaloke Kanatam Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna Yatra Pato Dhanurgana Tatra Sri Vijayo Bhutar Drvani Tar Matra Mama. Om Brahmarpanam Brahmave Brahmagalo Brahmanahutam Brahmagatena Gantavyam Brahmakarva Samadhinam Brahmarpanam Mamastu Krishnarpanam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Tambulam samarpyami Om Pungi Palmya Deva Nagabalidana Yutta Elan Chunatam Tambulam Prati Gretam Lavankarpur Sanyuktam Tambulam Surapujate Lavankarpur Sanyuktam Tambulam Prati Gretam Ajvanam Yadatta Prihana Parmeshwara Gita Ganga Chagayatri Sita Satya Saraswati Brahma Vidya Brahma Bali Trisandhya Muktagehini Artamata Chidananda Bhavagani Venashini Vedatrai Parananda Tatvartagyan Manjali. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
हिरण्याकर्व समवर्तताग्रे भूतस्य जाता पतिरिकयासि सदाधारं पृथिवीं नमः दक्षिणादानं समर्पयामि दक्षिणादानं प्रतिग्रेता पुष्पदान मल्लिट्टारिणी सुगन्धिनी मल्लिट्टारिणी वे प्रभु मायाटानि पूजाटं पुष्पाणि प्रतिग्रेता. Sing with me, everybody. Let's clap our hands as you make a joyful noise unto Bhagwan. Ram 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 Bole.
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 Ram Bole, Ram Bole.
Ram Bole, Ram Bole.
Ram Bole, Ram Bole.
Ram Bole, Ram Bole.
Ram 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 Bole.
Ram 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 Bole.
Ram 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 राम बोले,
रम 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 राम बोले,
रामा 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 दुख रामा,
रामा रामा सुख रामा, रामा रामा दुख रामा,
रम 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 राम बोले,
रम 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 राम बोले,
बोलो रम 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 राम बोले,
रम 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 राम बोले.
Sitaram and Namaste everyone. It is my pleasure on behalf of the Ganesh Utsav Foundation and Pandit Sunil Seetahal Maharaj to welcome you to this, the 15th session of our Bhagwat Saptaha Yagna. I would also like to take this time to extend a very special welcome to Panditji's mother, as well as to all other Brahman devatas joining us this evening. I also would like to say Sitaram and welcome to all other local, regional and international viewers and listeners who are tuned in via the airwaves of Sankhya Television and 103 FM. Over the past 14 sessions, Pandit Sunil, accompanied by his versatile groups, has bestowed upon us a wealth of knowledge. The onus is now on us to decide what are we going to do with the lessons learned from our Bhagwat Saptaha Yagna in an attempt to attain mukti of salvation. With this, I invite you to join us in worship and also celebration this evening. Thank you and Jai Sitaram.
वृंदावन मेरे लाल की जय, कर हो जाए आरती लीजिए। दीप ज्योतिर पर ब्रह्मा, दीप ज्योतिर जनाधर, दीपो हरत मे पापम, दीपोऽयं प्रतिग्रहीताम्, मोकं करोति वाचालं, पङ्गुलं एते गिरिं, यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। भागवत आरती। पंचम वेद निराला, नव ज्योति जगाने वाला।
हे अमर ग्रंथ ये मुक्ति पंथ ये पंचम वेद निराला, नव ज्योति जगाने वाला।
हरि ज्ञान ही वरदान यही,
हरि ज्ञान यही वरदान यही,
जग के मंगल की आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
शांति दीप पावन पुनीत पापो कुमिता निवाना, हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला।
शांति गीत पावन पुनीत पापों को मिटाने वाला, हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला।
ये सुख करनी हे दुख हरणी,
ये सुख करने ये दुख हरने,
ये मधुसूदन की आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तार की।
जय जय भागवत भगवान की हे आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तार की।
मधुर बोल जग पंत बोल सन्माद दिखाने वाला, बिगड़ी को बनाने वाला।
ये मधुर बोल जग पंत बोल सन्माद दिखाने वाला, बिगड़ी को बनाने वाला।
श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही,
श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही,
सबकी महिमा की आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तार की।
जय जय भागवत भगवान की हे आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तार की।
हे नंद नंद गोपाल, आनंद नंद गोपाल। हे नंद नंद गोपाल, आनंद नंद गोपाल। हे नंद नंद गोपाल, आनंद नंद गोपाल। हे नंद नंद आनंद नंद यदु नंद नंद गोपाल। हे नंद नंद गोपाल, आनंद नंद गोपाल। पराचित चोरा वृंदावन संचारा, गोपाला गोपाला ही मुरली गोपाला।
पराचित चोरा वृंदावन संचारा, गोपाला गोपाला हे मुरली गोपाला।
पराचित चोरा वृंदावन संचारा, गोपाला गोपाला ही मुरली गोपाला।
पराचित चोरा वृंदावन संचारा, गोपाला गोपाला हे मुरली गोपाला।
पराचित चोरा वृंदावन संचारा, गोपाला गोपाला ही मुरली गोपाला।
पराचित चोरा वृंदावन संचारा, गोपाला गोपाला हे मुरली गोपाला।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
वृंदावन बिरलाल की जय। शरणम आसन पर बैठे। Let us all please be seated. Atiti Devo Bhava. The guest is God. Have you ever heard that before? So it means that I don't have to tell you on the microphone, Atiti Devo Bhava. The need might be that you will have to give up your chairs for the guests to sit on. Atiti Devo Bhava. I didn't have to tell you that on the mic, right? You all knew that. Just reiterating what you already knew. Let us bow our heads in prayer as we chant mantras of Avahan. Hari Om Viganeshwaraya Varadaya Surapranam Bhotaraya Sakalaya Jagathitaya Naga Srutyakya Vibhushita Gauri Sutaya Gananath Namo Namaste. Matri Devo Bhava. I pay obeisance at the lotus-like feet of my beloved mother. Pita Devo Bhava. I pay obeisance at the feet of my father, wherever his soul may be. Atiti Devo Bhava. I pay obeisance at the lotus-like feet of all of you who are here and all of those who are viewing us and listening to us. I bow to the lotus-like feet of our Brahman Devatas. And so with conviction, we are bound to listen to the beautiful katha that comes from the Bhagwat Mahapuran. Varnanam arta sanganam rasanam chandrasamapi mangalanam chakaritaro bande vani vinayako Bhavani Shankaro Vande Shraddha Vishwaswarupino Yabhyam Vinana Pashante Siddha Swantastameshwaram. Bhagwat Sumila. Riddhi Siddhi Data Siddha Sarane Varane Varena Sumiro Baram मदन करने की लाने को गणपति कृपा निदान ज्ञानी कानी आनंद भवन देहु मोहि वरदान वरनो पाशा भागवता जय शिव आनंद कं भूतनाथ भव्य हरना भक्ति विषय निर्द्वार गौरवरन मंगल करना हे ब्रज चंद्र मुकुंद ब्रजभूषण दूषण हरना कठोभाव वेपन चरण शरण नियान करा जय 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 जगदीश श्वेत शेष महेश यजा महिमा मितय वीर वीर जानत नहीं देहु मोहि वरदान राधावत यावत सदा प्रेम प्रेम से मित चित में कटे कटे रहे मोहि चाहिए कचुना और वास्तु प्रभु जगगी बस ही रे मन माए या भाकी जाकी सदा नील कुटिया गायन की पीछे किरत वाली बाली निसा मोर मुकुट सिर परी डरे कर मुरनी उदमा शेष मुकुट के पीत पता या चबिसो नंदला बस हुए रे मम ऋषि देव गुरु पर रज दर्शी करहु भागवत की कथा जो सुखदेव मुनि कई परिचित निरपति सो श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज
निज मन मुकुर सुधार
लो रघुबर मन यश
जोदायक फलचार
बोधहीन तनु जानिके
सुमिरो पवन कुमार
बलभूत विद्या देहु मोहि
हरहु कलेश विकार
वृंदावन कृष्ण चंद्र जय शरण. Kirtan is the act of awakening the mind. Let us join in the kirtan as we clap and we sing and we make a joyful noise unto Bhagwan. Everybody sing with me. मानस भजले गुरु चरणम दुष्टर भव सागर तरणम
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 गुरु महाराज गुरु जय जय
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 साईनाथ सद्गुरु जय जय
साईनाथ सद्गुरु जय जय
साईनाथ सद्गुरु जय जय
सत्य साईनाथ सद्गुरु जय जय
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः
गुरु महाराज गुरु जय जय
गुरु महाराज गुरु जय जय
गुरु महाराज गुरु जय जय
गुरु महाराज गुरु जय जय साईनाथ सद्गुरु जय जय सत्य साईनाथ सद्गुरु जय जय मानस भजले गुरु चरणम दुष्कर भव सागर तरणम
मानस भजले गुरु चरणम दुष्कर भव सागर तरणम अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणा शिव
अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणा शिव
गुरु महाराज गुरु जय जय
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 साईनाथ सद्गुरु जय जय
सत्य साईनाथ सद्गुरु जय जय
साईनाथ सद्गुरु जय जय
सत्य साईनाथ
बोलो
सद्गुरु
let's sing,
जय
let's
जय
clap. मानस भजले गुरु चरणम दूतर भव सागर तरणम
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 गुरु महाराज गुरु जय जय
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 साईनाथ सद्गुरु जय जय
सत्य साईनाथ सद्गुरु जय जय
साईनाथ Sadguru Jai Jai,
Satya Sai Nath Sadguru Jai Jai,
Manas Bhajale Guru Charanam, Dutar Bhav Sagar Taranam,
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 Dutar Bhav Sagar Taranam.
Dutar Bhav Sagar Taranam.
वृंदावन लाल की जय, उमापति माँ देवकी जय. This evening our katha begins to tell us very beautifully. Sriman Narayan Narayan Narayan,
Sriman Narayan Narayan Narayan,
Sriman Narayan Narayan Narayan,
Sriman Narayan Narayan Narayan,
Bhajman Narayan Narayan Narayan,
Bhajman Narayan Narayan Narayan,
Bhajman Narayan Narayan Narayan,
Bhajman Narayan Narayan Narayan,
Sriman Narayan Narayan Narayan.
Sriman Narayan Narayan Narayan.
Our katha begins tonight by saying, at one time there lived a Maha-papi. We have heard that word, Maha, appearing in many of the kathas before. Maha means green. Papi. Papi means Papi is your father. Isn't that what you call him? Papi is your little grandson. Come, Papi, come. Come, my papa, my papi, come. Papi comes from the word pap, and pap means to be sinful. Maha-papi means a great sinner. Would you like to be described like that, Radix? Would you like to be described like that? Maha-papi, great sinner. Mommy, you want to be described like that? Maha-papi, great sinner. My mother said to me, don't ask me any questions, or else I'll deal with you in front of everybody. Ma, I don't know if you got a memo, but something has been happening to me lately. I've lost the connection between, something is happening between my brain and my mouth. And you see, like exactly what you tell me not to do, I want to just apologize in advance. That's what I will do. I'm just apologizing. There lived this great sinner. And so this great sinner, his name was Kamsa. His father's name was Ugrasen. And Kamsa knew that when Ugrasen will die, he will become the king. But Kamsa was impatient. Have you ever heard that word impatient before? He couldn't wait. He prayed every day for the father to die. But you know what will happen? The more you pray for somebody to die, what happens? Oh, you all know real good? OMG. How you all know so good? He prayed and he prayed and he prayed for his father to die. But the more he prayed, is the more long and healthy the father became. And so impatient as it were, Kamsa held Ugrasen, his father, and locked him in the prison. And locking him in the prison cell, it appeared as though the king was missing. And so if there is no king and the king cannot be found, then somebody has to replace the king. Because the kingdom without a king, then the entire kingdom will fall. And so great distress will come. So Kamsa forced himself into being the king. Have you ever forced yourself into something? I'll give you an example. You know that your size is 44 larger. You're trying to wear 32 small. You pull it and you shake it and it can't go. And then you say, rub some petroleum jelly. When I look long ago, girls wore tight pants. Now girls can't find tight pants because boys have started to wear it. They're buying all of the tight pants and they're wearing pants tighter than the girls. When I look sometimes, I wonder how they got that pants on. Actually, that's not my concern. How they'll get it off if they have an emergency. What will happen? But you know, fashion is important, isn't it? He locked the king in the prison cell, and paying no heed to the king went missing. And so the throne became vacant. And so because the throne became vacant, a king had to be ordained. And so the place comes to sit there. Seated on this throne, Kamsa was sitting there as though it was his rightful place. But he obtained that seat using the wrong method. And so while sitting there, Kamsa now, he began ruling. I want to ask a question. We have heard about Kamsa before and his name emanating in the Bhagwat Saptaha. But do you know Kamsa? He was a character, a being whose name was mentioned in the Ramayana of Goswami Tulsidas Ji. Do you know Devaki? She was a being who existed in the Ramayana. Do you know Yashoda? She was a being who existed in the Ramayana. And all of these beings who existed in the Ramayana, they now exist in the Bhagwat Mahakatha. But they are known by a different name. Do you know what Lord Krishna says about you and I? He says that we existed in the past, we are existing now, and there will never be a time when we will cease to exist. For we have done what we are doing now in the past, we are doing it now, and we will continue to do it until we attain perfection. Until we become perfect. Perfect in the sense that we will attain mukti, salvation. Kamsa sitting on the throne. Kamsa now enjoy the throne as though it belonged to him. Somebody ever lend you something and they have to borrow it back from you? Hello? You ever lend somebody something and you have to remind them they have to drop it back? We are Trinidadians, you know. We're good at that. And then when they ask, you pretend, hey, you know, I forget. And this time you wore it yesterday. And they were reminded when they saw, so they asked back. Kamsa, sitting there as the king on the throne, what will happen? Something is about to happen in the kingdom. The Katha begins to tell us. Aur duke dukha arohe tumne hamaro bhi dukha haro gopal. बनवारी कृष्ण मुरारी ओ बनवारी कृष्ण मुरारी नाथ नगर नंदलाल हमारे दुख हरो गोपाल नाथ नगर नंदलाल हमारे दुख हरो गोपाल और दुखी हरो ही तुमने हमारो भी दुख हरो गोपाल. शुक्लांबरधरं देवा शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजा प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये. सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्य वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारंभं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. श्री परमात्मने नमः. कंस का सुख होई का जानते हैं, देवकी और वसुदेव का विवाह का जनता है. कंस रथ का चलतक है, आकाशवाणी की कहा जब संग अपने का मृत्यु भेद करने लगे हैं. कुछ तथा उन्होंने का कुछ कहा तथा है. ओम नमो भगवते Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sitting there, he forgot about how he obtained the throne, and so he started taking the rule, the reign of being the king. And so making orders and ruling the kingdom, he now commanded the respect, but it was not given to him naturally. He forced that everybody should respect him. And forcing that everybody should respect him, they were afraid of him. And so being afraid of him, what will happen? It says, comes in the kingdom. One day, comes, he was very happy. Not just very happy, calm, very, very happy. And so his happiness knew no bounds. Why? Because his cousin who lived in the kingdom, she was just like his sister. Can you remember in time gone by when your cousins, they were just like your brothers and your sisters? Can you remember? Now, in the day and the time that we live in, your cousins are your competitors. And we don't know how to put aside business and family. We can't draw the line. We can't cipher. We don't know how to cipher what is right from what is wrong. We prefer to be selfish than to be selfless. We fight for things that will add no value to our life and that we don't need. And we deprive people who need. We deprive people who are supposed to enjoy. Comes. His happiness knew no bounds. Knowing no bounds, because Devaki, his cousin sister, there was about to be a viva. Viva means, when I said tonight, there is going to be a surprise. Everybody thought that there was going to be a viva. They thought that there was going to be something in pertinence to our wedding. Well, I want to tell you about wrong. But still take your heart tablet, huh? The surprise is even more shocking than that. Still take your heart tablet. Comes, his happiness knew no bounds. And so happy comes, what will happen? Comes decided that he will drive the chariot. The chariot that will carry the bride and the groom. Have you ever had the privilege of driving a wedding car? Have you ever had the privilege of driving in a wedding car? Have you ever rode the wedding car on the day of your wedding? What was that experience like? Long ago, the wedding car was decorated, isn't it? And there was a mic well, in 2022, every occasion you have now is a DJ truck. You're getting married, DJ. You have a birthday, DJ. You're dead, DJ. I want to tell you with no apology, and you might get upset because you know we never like to hear the truth. The most inappropriate things you can have in a funeral is loud noise. Anything that makes loud noise is inappropriate and not needed or required or prescribed according to scripture when an Anteshtia funeral is supposed to take place. Baba, she did like music, so we get a DJ truck. When the DJ, the bass, and the speaker go boom, she nearly fly out the box. In a funeral, it is a solemn ceremony. Tassa is celebratory. That's why in some religions, they make a request. No flowers by. Do you know why? Because flowers is something that is supposed to be given to a living person. When there is a celebration, a birthday or a wedding or some kind of thing, you give flowers, symbolic of your love and symbolic of your appreciation. What use is flowers to a dead person? You get so much, they put it on top of you, that if he wasn't there, they choke you and kill you again. Comes happiness knew no bounds, and so he decided to drive the chariot. And so driving the chariot, while driving the chariot, he made his way to the home of Vasudev, who is the groom. Devaki is the bride, and Vasudev is the groom. But comes, he made a law that Devaki will not live in the home of Kamsa, but in the home of Vasudev, but Devaki will come and she will live in the kingdom with her husband, his kingdom. And so they agreed. Who would not want to live in a palace? Who would not want to live in a kingdom? Hello? Would you not want to live in a kingdom? If you had the opportunity to go and live in the Buckingham Palace for 3 years, free, and live like royalty, what will you do? What will you do? And you can carry your children, and you could leave home your husband. You'll go faster. Wouldn't you grab that opportunity to live in a kingdom, in a palace? I want to tell you something. Grab hold of the opportunity. You already live in a palace. Grab hold of the opportunity. You're already a queen and you're already a king. Grab hold of the opportunity. Recognize those qualities in yourself. Do not live your life competing, because then you're not living. You're not living. Never compete. Life is not about competing. Enjoy. Enjoy everything and every moment as though it is your last. Giving up competition comes. Driving the chariot, what will happen? आकाशवाणी क्या है जब का संग अपने का मृत्यु पान करने वाले कुष्ठता की लेकिन है कंसोर हो जाता है ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय.
An Akashvani, a voice from the heavens spoke, and so the Akashvani could be heard. You think if it had a DJ truck and the Akashvani spoke, you think anybody will hear? Huh? You think anybody will hear? Comes heard the voice talking from the heavens. And as comes heard the voice talking from the heavens, the voice says, why are you so happy? Don't you know? Why are you so happy? Don't you know that one of the children of Devaki will destroy you? Don't you know? And one of the child born of the womb of Devaki will be born to destroy you. Comes hearing this, comes immediately, becomes furious, he becomes frightened. Because you know why? He doesn't want to die. Who wants to die? Who wants to die? Isn't it strange? You live your whole life working and saving and toiling, and when the time comes for you to enjoy the fruits of your labor, Jaya Bhi Akela, you're dead. And according to what scripture says, the cycle starts again. You begin to work, you begin to save, you begin to toil, and then you take nothing material. You take only what you have accumulated, the punyam, by the good actions that you have performed, and it affords you the opportunity of living a luxury in the next birth, a luxurious life in the next birth, in your next existence. Don't you know that this child will destroy you? And comes hearing, what will happen? The 8th child of Devaki and Vasudeva will destroy you. The 8th child. The voice is already telling how much children Devaki and Vasudeva will have. The old people had a unique way on the day of the wedding. In the family, the old ladies in the family, they will come and they will bless. Juk, juk, jio, and they tell you, I bless you to have plenty children, 5 girls and 4 boys. And, in our tradition, every wedding they go, I have an aunt, she makes the same wish. She says, I wish you first a baby boy, and when his hair begins to curl, I wish you next 2 baby girls. The amount of time she said that, I remember. Comes hearing that the 8th child of Devaki and Vasudeva will cause his death, becomes furious, and all celebrations come to an end. All celebrations is at a halt. And comes immediately holds Devaki, the Devaki he loves, by her hair. And he's about to behead Devaki. Why? Because he doesn't want her to have children. Because her child will cause his death. Vasudeva begins to cry. It is our wedding. How will you destroy my wife? Please, I'm begging you, give her a chance. Give her a chance. And we promise you that when the children are born, the eighth child, when the eighth child is born, we will gift you the eighth child. And so you can do whatever you choose to do with the eighth child. But we will give the eighth child to you. And this brought comfort. Have you ever heard about a promise? Have you ever heard about a promise before? Do you know what scripture says about a promise? It says a promise is comfort to a foolish person. Listen to what scripture says. That's what scripture says. Huh? Scripture says a promise brings comfort to a foolish person. Because though you make a promise, you have a unique way of trying to withdraw sometimes and changing and true or not? For instance, the vows that you made on the day of the wedding, how much of you uphold those vows? Do you even know what the vows are? Can you even remember what those vows were? You can't, because you know why? The clothes you had on weren't comfortable. You can't remember, you know why? Because it was hot. You can't remember, you know why? You were there, but you were not there. Because your mind was on the wedding dress you have to change in, and the limousine that you rented that have to go back, and the photographer that says, smile. And whole wedding you like, huh? And you can't remember a single thing that happened. Not even the vows that you made. And those vows were vows that were made in the presence of Bhagwan, God. They gave this assurance to Kamsa that the babies, the eighth child will be given. And so this brought comfort to Kamsa. But what will happen? Somebody is about to enter into the kingdom of Kamsa. After many months pass, and Kamsa would have forgotten what had happened, some being enters into the kingdom. Who will come? Listen. Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana 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 Om Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana Narayana Om Om Jai Sadguru Deva नारद मुनि की प्रगट होते करते ने महापापी देखोर मूर्ख करने जिसमें का देवकी और वसुदेव का पुत्र स्वर्ग तथा धेने ओम श्री परमात्मने नमः. Narad Muni appears. Narayan, Narayan, he's chanting. And Kamsa is happy to meet him. And so, as Narad Muni enters, Narad Muni looks at Kamsa and he says, "Oh Kamsa, how are you so calm? How are you so calm?" And Kamsa is saying, "Why should I not be calm?" And Narad Muni says, "You know that Devaki and Vasudeva will bring forth a child that will destroy you. And you sitting down here calm?" President, can you come? Narad Muni, he says to Kamsa, stand right here, where everybody could see you. Turn around. Turn where everybody could see you. You all seeing her? You all seeing her? Kamsa, Narad is about to confuse his brains, his mind. Do you know the right thing? Look how I will confuse you too. And we will confuse all of them who are here. Look at this. The eighth child will destroy Kamsa. Can I have 8 fingers? 8 fingers. You all seeing 8 fingers? Narad says, Kamsa, show me 8 fingers. And Kamsa is showing 8 fingers. He says, I want you to check. Check. From your right hand, which one of those fingers is the 8th finger? From your left hand, start checking. Which finger is the 8th finger? Start checking. Come. Keep up the same 8 fingers. Right, so keep these fingers right up there. So start from this hand now. Which finger is the 8th finger? That one? So then start checking from the thumb, that one. Which one is the 8th finger? Start checking from there. Yeah, from your thumb. No, that thumb. That thumb. Yeah. Which finger is your 8th finger? Let's do this one more time. One more time. Let's do this. 8 fingers. Start checking with me. Which finger is the 8th finger? Anyone? You sure? Just like you're thinking anyone is the 8th finger, Narad Muni convinces Kamsa that the 8th child could be any one of the children. Born in any order, though they were born 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you could check until 8. Narad has confused the mind of Kamsa that the first child could be the 8th child. Don't go. The second child could be the 8th child. The third child could be the 8th child. And you know, Kamsa believe that? Did you believe that? Any one of your fingers could be the 8th one? Did you believe that? You could go. Kamsa. He confuses, Narad confuses the mind of Kamsa. And causing this chaos in the mind of Kamsa, Narad says, you know what? I'm leaving. But you know what? I want to wish you good luck. Good luck. And so confused, Kamsa is furious. Not knowing which child will be the 8th child, Kamsa locks Devaki and Vasudeva in a prison cell. And locking them in a prison cell, he places shackles on the hand and the legs of Devaki and Vasudeva because he wants to have them under control. And placing shackles on their legs and their hands, what will happen? Listen, it tells us. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
एक पुत्र दो पुत्र तीन पुत्र देखो महापापी का कंस नाश देखते करने वाले देवकी की प्रार्थना कर लगते ही श्री भगवान विष्णु की रक्षा रक्षा होते सपने का भगवान विष्णु की प्रकट होते करने वाली तेक और यहाँ का हो चिंता किया होते निर्धन की पल प्राप्ति हो प्रार्थना हो करने ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
श्री परमात्मने नमः श्री गोविंदाय नमः Devaki and Vasudeva, they started giving birth. And as they started giving birth, the first child was born. Can you remember when your first child was born? What was that experience like? Let me ask somebody who have more than one children. Mommy, what was the experience like when your first child was born? Ma, let me just get to the point. Which child is your best child? When your first child was born, what was that experience like? Can you remember what that experience was like? What was it? It was one of what? Great joy, isn't it? Devaki is having her first child, and the child begins to scream, and so this catches the attention of Kamsa. And so Kamsa rushes to the prison cell, and Kamsa, he goes there as though he wants to see the child. He's interested. He loves the child. And so Kamsa holds the child. But he holds the child by its legs, upside down. And Kamsa slams the body of the child onto the prison wall. And the child's body falls lifeless on the ground. He does this one time. He does this 2 times. He does this a 3rd time. He does this a 4th time. And now Devaki can no longer bear this. Devaki's heart begins to pain because of what is being done to her children. Ever hear how a mother cries when her child dies? Ever hear how a mother cries when her child dies? Sukh dukh dono रहते जिसमें जीवन ही होगा कभी धूप कभी जान कभी धूप कभी छाँव, ऊपर वाला पासा पी के नीचे चलते जाओ, कभी धूप कभी छाँव, कभी धूप कभी छाँव. Devaki is crying, her heart is bleeding, and Devaki goes to sleep crying. She gets up crying, and Devaki can't function. When something happens to your child, how do you feel? These parents, one of their children just migrated. Not migrated to live, but migrated to school. I remember the first week when that child left. Every day they were crying. I remember that. Every day I will call them to find out, are you all okay? What is the experience like? Every day I will call the child and I will say, are you okay? Are you coping? She said, I'm missing roti. I said, what are you eating? She said, macaroni. I said, how are you cooking? And she said, in the microwave. I said, you're missing your sisters? No. I know you're missing your handsome pundit. She said, yeah. Kinda. I said, I know who you're missing the most, you know. Your mother. And you know what she said to me? Kinda. But I'm really missing my father. That's what she said to me. I'm really missing my father. Girls love their father, you know that? Boys love their mother. And girls love their father. Do you know that? Their father is the enabler. Father will drop anything and run to the aid. A true father. A true father. A true father will never segregate between his daughters. He will love them all equally. Devaki is crying. One day I was happy, and now the next day I'm sad. And so all my happiness has been plunged into sorrow. How will I do? How will I lift myself out of this sorrow? She's asking. And Devaki praying like this in a sapna. Sapna means in a dream. Bhagwan Vishnu appeared. Have you ever dreamt God before? So you could cry, eh? Have you ever dreamt God before? What have you dreamt about God? In a dream, Bhagwan Vishnu appeared as though it was an illusion, as though it was real. Ever dreamed something that felt real? Ever had an experience and you wish that it was a dream, that you could just wake up from it and it is not what it is? Devaki, in a dream, Bhagwan Vishnu appeared. But coincidentally, not only in the dream of Devaki, in the dream of Vasudeva as well. Have you ever told your dream to somebody and they say, you know, I dreamed the same thing? I dreamed something just like that. I dreamt something just like what you're saying, what you're describing. Feel like it's deja vu. How we dreamt the same thing? Devaki and Vasudeva, Bhagwan Vishnu appeared, and you know what he said? Do not lose hope. Do not lose trust. Follow my instruction. Are we good at following instructions? Follow my instruction. The seventh child to come in the womb of Devaki, the fetus will be taken from the womb of Devaki and placed in the womb of Rohini. This will be my Leela. I will do this. And it will appear as though the seventh child would have died, would have been aborted. But when the eighth child is born, I will come myself in the prison cell. But when I come in the prison cell, you must promise me that you will follow my instruction, because I will come as your child. You must take me in the form of this baby across the river Yamuna to the home of Nanda and Yashoda. And so in their crib, in their cradle, they will have a baby. Switch the babies. Put me there and take their baby and bring their baby into the prison cell. And while all of this is happening, everybody will be fast asleep. Nobody will know. And then when you get back into the prison cell, the shackles will go back on, and then leave the rest up to me. Tonight I want to tell you that there are many things in our lives, they're best left at the feet of Bhagwan. It is best to leave it at the feet of Bhagwan, God. Let God take control. You have no control. Today we spoke about who has control. Let God take control. And so following the instruction, what will happen? The fifth child is born. The sixth child is born. And Kamsa does the very same thing he did with all the other children. But now the seventh child, she is impregnated and the seventh child is about to come. And so the fetus is transferred into the womb of Rohini. And so as the fetus, we will hear in the cut has to come, who that child will be and what is the name of that child that was born in the fetus of Rohini. Rohini now becomes the surrogate mother. That word surrogate comes from scripture. It is mentioned in scripture. And so Rohini, she is in family way. It appears as though Devaki has had a miscarriage. But then the time comes when Devaki can no longer bear the pain. And Devaki, she is impatient. And Bhagwan Vishnu is about to come as an eighth child. What will happen? Listen. Bolo Shri Seetahal 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 Jai Siyavar Ram. Bolo
Seetahal 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 Jai Siyavar Ram.
Bolo Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Jai Siyavar Ram. Bolo जन्म देकर प्रकट होय, देकर देवकी वसुदेव होय, मुक्त द्वार देकर देहि, देकर रूप कृष्ण देहि, राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम। बोलो
राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम।
रोवट देती देकर देवकी, मुक्त द्वार बिनता देती, उस कर जन्म कृष्ण देती, नाम तुम्हारा शरण देरी, राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम। बोलो
राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम।
देकर देवकी कह दूता, माल बनावा देकर कपरा, देकर भक्ति और प्रार्थना, देकर भक्ति और प्रार्थना, प्रभु कह देकर रक्षा देहि, कृष्णा शरण देहि देहि, कलयुग में कह वरदान होति, जन्म जन्म कर पापन होई, राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम। बोलो
राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम।
बोलो सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम।
सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम।
In the prison cell, Bhagwan Vishnu, he has taken his appearance. In the prison cell, his name is not Vishnu, his name is Krishna. And taking his appearance in the form of Krishna, the shackles drop and everybody is asleep. It is midnight. And so Devaki, she becomes very happy. Devaki rips a piece of her clothing and she makes a blanket. She makes a sheet to put the child. And as Devaki wraps the baby in the sheet, shielding the child, what will happen? She holds the child and Devaki is crying, and you know what she's saying to her son? You know what she's saying to the child? Listen to her words. These are the words of Devaki. Janma janma paap hateri, ante kara dur hadeki, mukta dwara mukta deki, Krishna sharana raksha deki, Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Jai Siyavar Ram। बोलो
राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम।
जन्म all of my sins from the birth previous and the birth now will be removed because you have come, O Bhagwan Vishnu. I don't even have time to feed you dood. Dood means what? Milk, the milk of my bosom. That I can transform, or I can obtain through my blood, through my existence. I don't have enough time to feed you, and so you must leave. But please remember me. Please remember me, and do not leave me for long. Bring my suffering to an end. It is the hope of every parent that their children will be able to lift their name and to help them to shine. It is the hope and the ambition of every parent that your child will enjoy what you never enjoyed. It is the wish, it is the desire of every good parent to make sure and to ensure that you can provide for your children. It is the hope and the wish of every parent that your children will be more educated than you are. But even that, people are jealous of. Even that, people are envious of. Shine anyway. Educate them anyway. Support them anyway. And so, Muktaha Dwara Dura Hari Krishna Sharana Sharana Deki Raksha Raksha Dehi Anata Krishna Sharana Sharana Deka Kamaha Krodha Lobha Maya Papahari Kalamantran Paya Radhe Sham Radhe Sham Radhe Sham Jai Siyavar Ram Bolo Radhe Sham Radhe Sham Radhe Sham Jai Siyavar Ram. The time has come when Vasudev must now take this baby across the river Yamuna to the home of Nanda and Yashoda. The prison doors open. Have you ever tried to open a door and you can't open it? And then you go in search of help, and then the person comes, and with no effort they just turn and the door open. Have you ever experienced that before? The prison door that was locked, that they could not open, just opened for itself. Just as Bhagwan Vishnu had narrated. And so they placed the baby in a basket, an old basket that they were fed roti in. Have you ever heard about roti? Roti is the #1 killer. Roti. Have you ever heard? Mangana mangana roti Gopal Pyare. Mangana mangana roti Gopal Pyare. One of the parsads of Bhagwan Krishna is roti. What kind of roti? Choti roti. Choti. Have you ever heard about choti? Choti is a sweet roti that you make like a dal puri, the dough, but instead of putting dal, you put what? Sugar. You put sugar inside of it and you make this sweet roti. Mangana mangana roti Gopal Pyare. Mangana mangana roti Gopal Pyare. You know it tastes nice? You know that roti will taste nice? You have to eat it with some dahi. You have to eat it with some dahi. Would you eat that? You can't say it wouldn't taste good if you never tried it. You have to eat it with some dahi. Long ago, they made dur piti. Have you ever heard about that? They will soak the dumpling in the milk, in the dood. And this is what they will eat as a delicacy. You ever hear about dal dumpling? Well, now you hear about dood dumpling, milk and dumpling. It's a parsad of Bhagwan Krishna. One evening we will make that in the Bhagavad, in the Yagna. Maybe tomorrow evening. Now that Lord Krishna has appeared, we'll make the parsad of Lord Krishna every night and we'll feed it to you. The corn kuku and the gujia and the different parsads, the banana. We'll give you the different parsads so you can taste it and enjoy the parsad of Bhagwan Krishna. It says, he placed the baby in the basket. You know there is a special container that you put your roti in when it is made? Or a cloth. Actually, now in 2022, every cloth in your kitchen is called a roti cloth. Isn't it? Huh? And the ones that got old, that you would no longer wrap the roti in, you call it a sapi. Isn't it? And you could wipe everywhere with it. And actually, some people wipe and still wrap their roti in it. For convenience, anything they find, you know, they just put the roti, now for now. And they say, don't worry, the roti hot, it come from the tower and it have no germs. I'm just telling you what anti-radical does. Bolo Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Jai Siyavar Ram. Bolo Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Jai Siyavar Ram. Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham, Jai Siyavar Ram. Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham, Jai Siyavar Ram. कर नदी वसुदेव भूता लोभः मोहः पापहति का पानी देकर पानी देवा देकर नदी का सेवक सेवा कृष्णा शरणम दर्शन देता देकर पुण्य कर पाप हटेगा राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम बोलो
राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम.
Vasudev is now going across the river. He has to cross the river. Have you ever had to cross a river? Have you ever had to cross the river before? We do that for fun, eh? We do that for fun. We have to cross the river when we are doing the Godan. But we make a small river where it's comfortable to cross. Huh? Imagine it was a big river and you had to cross the river. You know what will happen? You'll be in real trouble, you know. Because your skirt hanging and dragging everywhere and dragging everything. Sometime in the wedding, the Dulahin's outfit so big, it's dragging the Hawan Kun, wrong the fire, wrong the marrow. And she doesn't even know. One day, one of the bride's outfit got hold of my dhoti, and you know I have embroidery. And she's pulling my dhoti, carrying me. And I'm like, can you wait? And she said, wait? What is happening? I said, you're pulling out my dhoti. I said, you know what will happen? Fashion, you know, fashion. Above everything, we like fashion. We want to be glamour. We want to be glitzy, huh? The more bling bling it is, the nicer it is, huh? We don't like Zen. We like bling. It says, he's now about to take the child across the river, Yamuna. But something happened. The water that was very low now suddenly becomes very high. And so the water, as though it is drowning Vasudeva. And Vasudeva wonders, how is this possible? How is this possible? Why is this happening? And so Vasudeva becomes very confused. And so becoming very confused, the little baby Krishna takes his foot and puts it out of the basket. And his little toe touches the water. For the water of the river wanted to get the darshan of Bhagwan Krishna. And so touching the water goes down. And so Vasudeva makes his way to the home of Nanda and Yashoda. Just as narrated in the cradle of Nanda and Yashoda, they have a baby. And so he switched the baby. That story sounding familiar? Sometimes when your children begin to misbehave, you question it. I wonder if they switch this child in the hospital, boy. Huh? This can't be my child. Ma, you ever thought that? Mommy, excuse me, did you ever think that? That they switch me? Because I heard in the first eulogy that they read about me today, that you think I'm 10 handfuls. You said that too? I thought so. Ma, are you under pressure? Oh. You don't have to answer. I'm just asking you because you know. It says, he switches the baby. And so he leaves the baby Krishna in the home of Nanda and Yashoda, and he brings the baby of Nanda and Yashoda into the prison cell. The prison doors closes. And Devaki begins to analyze. She begins to examine the body of this little child that she's seeing for the first time. It is not her biological child, but it is now the baby that she has been entrusted with by Bhagwan, God. Your children have been entrusted in your care by Bhagwan, by God. God could have chosen any family to send your children in. But you know who He chose? He chose you. And sometimes, if you are not privileged to have biological children, He still sends children through your nephews, through your nieces, through your close relatives, through adoption and other methods. If you are deserving, it says, now Devaki examining the baby, what she notices, Kali yuga de kar vardan hoy, janma karta de par hoy, de kar Devaki mantran hoy, de kar japata sharana hoy, mukta de kar murat de, utare de kar sundar soy, de kar Bhagavati rupa de Kamsa maha papi deka, Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham, Jai Siyavar Ram. Bolo!
Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham, Jai Siyavar Ram.
Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita सियावर राम।
सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम।
पुतरी देकर रोवत ही, देकर सपना कंस होय, देकर क्रोध लोभ माया, अटिकः योगः शक्ति तुम्हारा, प्रगटः देकर भगवती सोई, देकर महापापी न होय, जन्म करता देहि कल्याणी, प्रेत्य देकर मंत्र सुनाई, राधे श्याम राधे श्याम, राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम। बोलो
राधे श्याम राधे श्याम, राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम।
After examining the body of the child, Devaki noticed that it was not a putra, it was a putri. Putri means girl, it was not a boy. And so Devaki, seeing this innocent little girl, Devaki says to the little child, you know what she says? Don't cry. Please don't cry. You ever go to some function and your child begins to scream? What will you do? What will you do? Some mothers take their hand or the rag and put it by the child's mouth. Don't ever do that. You'll stifle your child. If you come to the yajna and your child is running or talking or playing, I never mind. I never ever mind. Actually, I'm happy when the children can come to the yajna. Because you know why? This is their culture too. They will learn. We learn, and learning begins from the womb and it ends in the tomb. And so we must teach our children. And the only way that they can ever learn is when they're in the environment of learning. Isn't that? And so when they see the traditions and they see the practices, they'll be able to go home and take their little lota and bathe their murti too. They'll be able to go and find you know how they learn? The little girl or the little boy watch the mother putting lipstick, and one day they go and put lipstick too. And not only on the lip, and on the mirror, on the wall, everywhere. True or not? The little child looks at the father signing with the pen, and then the child take the pen and go on the wall. And the child say, Mommy, look, I draw you. And when you go, you see a set of scratch. And you say, that's how I look, scratch up. Learning from what you see. Practicing from what you see. The example that is taught to you. Through what is being learned at home. So, Devaki is saying to the baby, don't cry. And exactly what you tell the little children not to do, that's what they do. This child did not start to cry. This child started to scream at the top of her voice. Loud as loud can be, and screaming as loud can be. The Mahapapi, the great sinner, he's awoken from his sapna. He's awoken from his dream, his sleep. And so coming in a very semi-conscious state. You ever get up and you say, I get up and over me, if I get up. Actually, let me tell you what we say. I get up feeling stupid. Have you ever said that before? The only how you could feel stupid is if you're really stupid. Stop saying that. Because what you say about yourself, you end up being. Always say good, positive things about you. Dress positively, and you will keep the company and attract the company of those who are positive. You know that? Look positively. Look beautiful, and you will attract other beautiful beings. Be beautiful in the way you portray yourself. Learn to be humble. Learn to be simple. Learn to mind your own business. Learn that not everything should affect you. Learn that not everything is about you. Learn that. And if you didn't learn that, tonight is a good night to start practicing that. What kind of powder do you use on your face? Will it work for me? Well, if I use your powder, will it work for me? I don't use powder, by the way. Will it work for me? How you know? You're a makeup artist? How do you know? How do you know? How you'll be able to tell? Devaki, she's saying to the child, don't cry. And the child begins to scream. And as comes, enters into the prison cell. You know what happens? Listen. Kali yuga de kar vardan hoy, chandama karta de kar hoy, de kar mantra japata de kar, sharanam de kah rakshe sahar, radhe sham, radhe sham, radhe sham, jai siyavar ram. Bolo.
Radhe sham, radhe sham, radhe sham, jai siyavar ram.
The child screaming comes. And Kamsa does exactly what he is accustomed to doing. He looks at Devaki and he says, Devaki, give me the baby. And Devaki says, this is the only time I have a girl. And Kamsa, if you see her, she resembles you. What harm can a girl cause to you? Can a girl cause harm? Can a girl cause harm? But you know, I have to be very careful about what I'm saying tonight because we are outpowered, amen? There are more ladies here than men, eh? So I have to be very careful about what I'm saying. But do you know, your son who you have nurtured and loved, and stop loving you because he loves a little girl who says to him, don't talk to your mother again. And he in love, eh? You ever hear about love, sin? You ever hear about love before? They say love is blind. That's true? That's true? Radix, love is blind? How you know? When you were in love, you never saw? Is it? Oh. She said, when I was in love, I never looked at anybody on the outside. So you fall out of love? Comes, he holds the baby upside down and comes in an effort. He swings the baby on the prison wall. But this time, the baby swings out of his hand and manifesting there his hope. Let us listen. Jagadamba Devi, Jagadamba Devi, Jai 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 Jagadamba Devi.
Jagadamba Devi, Jagadamba Devi, Jai 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 Jagadamba Devi.
Jagadamba Devi, Jagadamba Devi, Jai 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 Jagadamba Devi.
Jagadamba Devi, Jagadamba Devi, Jai 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 Jagadamba Devi.
Jagadamba Devi, Jagadamba Devi, Jai 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 Jagadamba Devi. Jagadamba Devi, Jagadamba Devi, Jai 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 Jagadamba Devi.
Jagadamba Devi, Jagadamba Devi, Jai 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 Jagadamba Devi.
Yoga Maya Pragata Hote Tekar Maha Papan Hoy Mukta Dwara Mantra Pari Tekar Devaki Nandan Hoy Atika Rupa Dekar Rupa Mar Gaya Dekar Binata Seva Papana 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 Shava Dekar Janama Raksha Tumara Amma Amma Jai Jagadamba
Amma Amma Jai Jagadamba.
Amma Amma Jai Jagadamba
Amma Amma Jai Jagadamba.
Amma Amma Jai Jagadamba
Amma
Jagadamba Mata ki Jagadamba Mata ki Jagadamba Mata ki.
Jai Jagadamba.
As a child swings out of the hand of Kamsa, appearing there in the prison cell is Yogmaya Devi. She appears to be just like that of Durga Devi, with all the weapons in her hand and having this glorious look about her. And she addresses Kamsa, "Oh Maha Papi, O great sinner, do you think that I am the child to destroy you? I am not the child to destroy you. The child to destroy you is already born and in a safe place. Be worried. I am just the smoke. You did not see the fire as yet." And hearing these words, Kamsa becomes furious. Yogmaya disappears and Kamsa hears that the child to destroy him is in a safe place. What will happen? Something will happen. Tomorrow morning we will listen to Umapati Mahadeva ki jai, Pavan Sutta Hanuman ki jai.
Ayodhya Ram Lala ki jai, Vrindavan Krishna ki jai, Pureza Jagannath ki jai, Bolo Satsang ki jai, Sriyapati Ramchandra ki jai, Sharanam.
Jagadamba Devi Mata ki jai. We join in the house. Hari Om Shri Vishnavi Namaha. Om Vishnavi Namaha. Om Vishnavi Namaha. We have a water. Sarva Papa Haram Devam Gangyam Nirmanam Jalam Ajpanimya Datta Grihana Parameshwara Ajpanam Samarpayami. Om Bhurbhuvah Svatat Saviturvarenyam भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि यो यो न प्रचोदयात् इदं गात्रे इदं नाम ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि यो यो न प्रचोदयात् इदं गात्रे इदं नाम ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि यो यो न प्रचोदयात् 5 times ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय स्वाहा ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय chant with me ॐ सर्व देवी सर्व देवा नमः स्वाहा आचमन सर्व पापहं देवं गांग्यं निर्मलं जलम् आचमनम्या देवा गृहाण परमेश्वर विपाण्डिस्मो वनस्पतिर्सूरभूतो गन्धार्यो गणदूतमा आग्रे सर्वदेवानां धूपोऽयं प्रतिगृहीतां विवल्पां ॐ मनलाय नमः ॐ मनलाय नमः ॐ मनलाय नमः बोलो श्री सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम बोलो
सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम
बोलो राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम
राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम
बोलो सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम
सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम
Very quickly, I'm going to ask Rajesh to come to the microphone. Very quickly. The word is quick. You didn't get up as yet. Doctor, please come. This evening, Uncle Harry is celebrating his birthday as well. Every year, Uncle Harry celebrates his birthday together with me, or I celebrate my birthday together with him. He is known as the Honeyman. This is his son. And so, on behalf of all members of the Ramsmooch family, earlier today, the Ganesh Utsav Foundation wished him a happy birthday. And I'll be failing in my duty if I don't allow our Honorable Doctor to bring greetings on behalf of his family and the extended family. I've been privileged to talk to the aunts and the sister that is abroad today. They all expressed beautiful sentiments, and Uncle Harry was very excited this morning. He had me calling everybody from my phone so that they will talk to him and wish him a happy birthday. And I hand over to Rajesh.
Namaste, Sitaram, everyone. Well, Sunil just caught me off guard, as usual. So I would just like to say thank you to everybody that's here. It means truly a lot, because every year the sacrifice that is made to celebrate the birthday of my father and Pandit Sunil's birthday with everyone else who is associated. And this year, I mean, we started in 2010. That was the first year we started. And every year we try to make it, and we try to make it bigger and better. I mean, over the last few years, we've had COVID. And personally, I mean, if you know my father, we've had a lot of challenges over the last year. And to see you all here, it's really, really heartwarming. On behalf of myself, my father, and my entire family, we'd just like to say thank you to everyone. A special thank you as well to Pandit Sunil and the Ganesh Utsav committee. Just being here is truly, truly spectacular, because this is a Bhagwat Mahapuran. So it's 7 days, 3 times a day. And it's something that I probably think I would never host because I'm too lazy. And the reason I say that is because to host a function or an event like this, it takes a lot of hard work. And to Baba and the members of the household and the members of the Ganesh Utsav committee, I would again just like to say thank you so very much. So Sitaram everyone, and thank you again.
Sitaram once more, everyone. For those of you who joined us in the earlier sessions, we would have started talking a little bit about Pandit Sunil, seeing that today is his birthday and he's celebrating with us. So we are all very lucky and blessed to be celebrating with both Pandit Sunil and Uncle Harry today. Thank you, both of you, for inviting us to your celebrations. We feel honored and we look forward to further invitations. So we would have begin to tell a little bit about Pandit Sunil this morning, and we continued into the second session. The second session was very short because I think Tara was very, very afraid to say anything.
Can you put on this mic? She should be.
So, unfortunately, we weren't able to get any files on Pandit Sunil. But now we have Granny. Granny, you ready to talk? You remember me, Mary Dentist?
Oh boy, like that name stuck on me. Anyhow, Sitaram everyone. It was very difficult to work and to condense 20 years in a few minutes, but I'll try. Normally I don't read, but I think for this one I have to read. And I must refrain from looking at Pandit Sunil because I know what he'll tell me. Don't do that, don't do that. So whenever I visited my parents' home in Lengua, a few houses away from where Pandit Sunil grew up, I would hear stories about this mischievous little boy, but very loving as well. He has one brother, but nothing was said about him. At that tender age, he was the talk of the village and the sweetheart of all the elderly folks around, and they all adored him. That is all I knew about him then. Many years later, my sister inquired about a job for him at the gas station I managed. She added he was computer literate and he had a diploma in computer technology. She added also, but he's very playful and I have to be patient with him. All right, being my cousin's son, I decided to try him. So that started his working career and my relationship with him. He informed me early that he belonged to a Kirtan group and ever so often he will have to attend. He was the main chorus and the helper to his Pandit. But when that day came, I would notice a joy and a different kind of energy in him. However, I really didn't pay much attention to that. Next on his agenda was he wanted to get his driver's license. He would complain after every session with his instructor. So I decided to help him a little bit. I took my dad's gear car. Boy, on the first day of practice, he ended up in a ditch. He came out of, that wasn't enough, he came out of the driver's seat, left me there, and walked home. Luckily, we were living nearby. Anyhow, eventually, he persisted and got his license. Number one. Still issues at work. What a trying time. As soon as he heard a hearse on the bypass, that is a bhajan playing, he will literally run out of the gas station, and normally they will come to fill up at the pumps. Well, he will do the honors of filling up the hearse, and while doing that, I don't know how he is to persuade the funeral attendants to open the box. Boy, the attendants used to run to the next side of the gas station. And next thing you hear, Sunil sit down in the hearse and he going to attend the cremation. I never knew that, you know. But one day I came out of the office and I'm looking for Sunil. I say, Nila, where is Sunil? Miss J, if I tell you, he does always do that. Anytime a funeral pass, so they come, he just jump in the hearse and go to the cremation and come back and you never know. Only know why he like funeral? Good. I don't remember how I dealt with that situation, but I'm certain I must have disciplined him. It didn't help at all. It became more of a hobby to him. Next one, boy. I'm sorry, but I have to read. He eventually became all that he did, right? And a lot more, but too many to mention. But I just want to say one thing before I go on to the next chapter about the same kind of thing. You know, when he had to travel to Lengua to go to his satsang, right? He will take the girls in the gas station and go to San Fernando to take a taxi, but he must pass through the cemetery. And while there, he will just pass through, you know. You know what he does? He will take flowers from one grave and say, oh, this grave I have none, let me put one. Until one day, one of my cashiers came in. She said, Miss J, I want to tell you something. It really have spirit, you know. I say, how, girl? She said, my father is a Muslim, and we just bury him, and I see flowers on the grave. When I went home, Sunil told me he did that. Boy, he not easy. Anyhow, eventually he became very good at his job and was offered a post as assistant manager at the Freeport NP gas station, where he performed extremely well and not long after became the manager of NP Debe. What a thing. He really started to get serious a little bit, but not too serious, anyhow. I recognized at that time that he wanted to do more in life. This time, different. He wanted to do more in his life. And you know what he would do? I tell the boy to save his money and whatever, right? And when I ask him how much money for, he said, I have none. I say, what? Sunil always paying down on a murti and buying a murti. If most of you will remember, in Union Hall, our living room was filled with murti. All that was Sunil's salary, yeah? Yeah. You know something? At that time, we had a discussion as to really what he wanted to do in life. Because he was getting a little spiritual, you know, and he told me that, you know, ever since I was small, I wanted to have murtis and I wanted, you know, he had a passion for this. I also understood what the speaker should have said earlier on is that at a very young age in Lengua, he never missed the prayers, and anywhere they have prayers, you see Sunil making parasad, helping cook, helping wash wares. He was always around. He started going to yagyas and bhagwats by Pampi and Sintrande, isn't that so? And he was very much interested at that time. So, but that was new to me. Afterwards, I learned all that. So we had this discussion, and he indicated that he wanted to be a pundit. But he was getting too old, so he had to do it quickly, right? Anyhow, that road wasn't easy. He met with resentment, negativity, insults is an understatement. I stepped in at that time and guided him and tried to guide him to the best of my ability. Imagine his lineage was questioned. Little did they know that both his parents had pundits in their family, both sides. If you know a Pandit Seetahal, and also Pandit Misir on his mother's side. One of the very best pundit that passed through Lengua, for those of you who know, right? This happened for a very long time, but I guess when they did their homework and they realized, they stopped it. By then, he would have endured a lot. Many trying times after that. I remembered clearly when a senior pundit asked him to fill in for him, and he parked his, and she should give me the wrong one. Let me see. No, this one here. However, the date was set for his initiation, 5 months again. So, he had to do something in that time because he wasn't quite ready to be a pundit. And I used to look at the TV and say, well, you know, all pundits play harmonium or some kind of musical instrument. So I bought him a harmonium and a tabla. And he also enrolled for Hindi classes. Well, we all know the results of the music. Sintra, Danpol, and Sharon. Sorry, Sharon. Yeah, that's the result of his dance class, his music class. After a short while, he told me he had learned enough Hindi. We talking a couple of months, you know. Sunil learned to read Hindi. I had to see that, but I didn't know much Hindi, so I didn't know, right? In my mind, I doubted him, but I let it be. The date came, he was finally initiated. He was so elated and happy. Soon afterwards, he journeyed to India, alone, I may add, as a young fellow, to further his knowledge and get a better understanding of the scriptures. He also visited places of interest and was very mesmerized by the cuisine. He came back very learned. When he returned to Trinidad, he was ready to perform his duties as a pundit. As fate would have it, the first thing he booked was a funeral. My God. Well, you know, at that time I used to accompany him all over because he was still a bit shy and, you know, whatever. And then I had to be a little critic for him because I want him to go there being, you know, good. Well, boy, that funeral, Sunil did an excellent job. And if you know me, I don't exaggerate, right? He was becoming very popular, and at that time he resigned from his tenure at NPDB. He couldn't mix it. It was too much for him. I, however, continued to be with him because at that time he didn't have too many friends around and whatever, so I decided to accompany him. I remember clearly when a senior pundit asked him to fill in for him. As he parked his vehicle, he noticed 12 bamboo leaning up. He looked at me and said, "What to do?" I said, "Sunil, you have to go and do the prayers." Well, when he went, that wasn't the only thing. He was met with angry faces, people telling him all sorts of things because the pundit they wanted to do did not come to do it. And they didn't know him. They nearly canceled the puja. But eventually the pundit called, made peace, and eventually he did it. Well, normally I don't boast about children, you know. But I was so proud of him. He delivered. And he was the family's pundit after that. And at that time I knew, after that time I knew he handled that with so much maturity, and he was very professional about it. I felt glad. I said, okay, no more puja for me. He could go. He's good. Yeah. But that Hindi thing still bothered me, and I finally rest my case after he did a 3 nights at the Point of Peer Temple. His tutors were there. So I knew he couldn't make no mistake. He had to be accurate. And also, at that time, he was on radio and television. So I say, you know, he can't go there not knowing everything. He have to know things, eh? He can't go there and talk stupidness and watch the book and read it and things. So, but when the satsang finished in the temple, the tutors came to me and said, when did Sunil get so good? You know, he was excellent. His delivery was excellent. His pronunciation was good. His explanation was good. Well, I felt good because I thought I had done a great job and he did a better job. His love for animals is admirable. And if I let him, he would have a zoo at home. I firmly believe later in life he will own a zoo with proper facilities. I must say that no one can cut and paste like him. His diary reflects that, as he is always fitting in a funeral or some function or some puja. He is a master at giving and bringing comfort to the bereaved family, one of his finer qualities. And during this COVID time, he has shown that so much. He went beyond his call of duty. Many times I'll be so frightened for him, but he pulled through. I really don't know how he does it, but I think Bhagwan's intervention is very instrumental in his existence. Panditji every year is very eager to celebrate his birthday with friends and family around. Prayer. Because he is very respectable to the elderly, he has many mamas and papas. I remember after one of his birthday celebration, the living room was filled with gifts and 90% wrote from mama. He was wondering how he would thank them. I said, look, when you meet them, just say, thank you for the gift, mama, you know. So he went to a puja one day and he went to this lady. He said, thank you, mama, for the gift. She said, Baba, beta, I was sick, I didn't come. I shifted to the left, but knowing Pandit, he probably gave a fitting answer to that. There are so many things I can talk about, but time doesn't permit. So, yeah, they didn't hand me that one. You know, I forget this one, but this is a major one. Let me tell all of this. They forget to hand me a paper, hand them it in order, you know. Right.
You don't have to read the whole thing. Please don't read the whole thing.
No, it's not big. It's nothing. It's good.
Why did you
I am
write
all
so
for
much?
education. So whenever he asks me to do something educational, I am all for it. And I advise and I admired, that about him, how he always wanted to improve himself. My daughter wanted to do culinary arts at UE. Well, he decided he wanted to do the same. He did extremely well. But for the final practical, they had to do a project at home. He chose Indian delicacies. Now he might kill me for this one, but it's all right. And my daughter chose cakes and things. So they journeyed to Lengua here by his grandmother. And my daughter baking her cakes and things. And she called me 1 o'clock in the morning and she said, Ma, Sunil not doing anything, he will fail. I said, don't worry about Sunil. I know he just mix up them quick and make, you know. So he will do that. Anyhow, I went to bed. Next day, they went from Lengua. They went and he presented his work. Yeah, he had all the sahina and pulari and thing from the green shed and Debe. Yeah, he passed with flying colors, man. Yeah, but anyhow, I must boast and say he do a very good sponge cake. I don't know, many of you would have tasted it, and he could bake a good bread, and he could cook. Right, that was only one thing there. But he did pass, and he has a degree in culinary arts.
You still have a next paper?
My dear Panditji, I have seen you grown from a shy young boy to a brave, loving individual. A Pandit who possesses that special gift to please all without complaint. Very compassionate and caring. I took care of you then, and now you are taking care of me. Thank you so much. I live at your home, and you treat me the best. I promise not to get emotional, but he's a gem. As you celebrate your birthday today, I wish you all the best, good health, and may you continue to grow and continue to propagate dharma. And may all your dreams and aspirations become a reality. Bhagwan bless you, my dear. I love you. Happy birthday. I would like to say a very special thank you to all of you here, the Ganesh Utsav Foundation, the members and executive, for your input in his life. You are all a part of him, and he values and respects you. Don't doubt it. Thanks for supporting him in all his ventures. Thank you all. Let us all, I know he mightn't do it, so we'll just sing the happy birthday song for him right now. Sintra, Bar Bar. Everybody can join in.
बार बार दिन ये आए, बार बार दिल ये गाए, बार बार दिन ये आए, बार बार दिल ये गाए, तुझे हजारों साथ ये मेरी है आरज़ू। हैप्पी बर्थडे टू यू, हैप्पी बर्थडे टू यू, हैप्पी बर्थडे टू पंडित सुनील, हैप्पी बर्थडे टू यू।
Tonight, we say thank you to you, Granny. I'll talk with you after privately. Let's give her a round of applause. This is my partner in crime. This is my best friend and my worst enemy sometimes. She's my biggest critic. She fills the void of mother in the absence of my mother. They're both good friends. They gang up against me all the time. Doesn't change the fact that this is my mother and I love her. But this is my surrogate mother and I love her too. If ever I have addressed you or called you or given you the privilege of being my mama, you're lucky. And if ever I've considered you or named you as my dada, you're lucky. If you have never reciprocated, then it is your loss. But my nature is to be loving. It is my nature. It is a part of who I am. There are many things that I want to say, but time doesn't permit us tonight. And I know we have tomorrow and all the other days, but they will not be as special as today and tonight. I have this surprise. Should I tell this surprise first or should I tell this? I'll tell the surprise last. On the stage there is a rooster and there is a chicken. Did you all see? Everybody has been asking, what is the story with the rooster and the chicken? What is the story? The first Bhagwat I ever did was at the home of Papa Mallu and Mama Lina. They afforded me the opportunity as a child, very immature and with little or no experience. And the person who fell in love with me wasn't Mama Lina, though she loves me more than him now. The person that fell in love with me was Papa. Because he did a catering in a yagya that I was doing. And when he came, he was compelled to come inside and sit and listen. And he said it is something that he never did. And so when he listened the first night and the second night, he brought the entire family the third night to meet me. I never forget that. And they won the status of being Papa and Mama. The relationship I share with them is they're actually staying with me here. That's to tell you about the consideration. There are people I consider who didn't even come, didn't even show up to the yagya. But I love you anyway. Your presence is the present that you can give. Your support is all we need. That's all we need. And in that Bhagwat, I was privileged to have the company of the group. At that time, our group was a very small group. But family. Mainly family. And after the Bhagwat reading will happen downstairs, we'll all go upstairs and there was a room that we will go into. But Papa Mallu and Mama Lina, they had a Spanish maid, a helper, a house aide. And she would look after our needs. But every day, when you walk up the step, the first thing you're greeted to is these two chickens. And I will drag them from where they were and I will carry them into the bedroom. And then the next day, when I go upstairs, it will be back in the position that it was and I will drag it again. And then one day, I was there when the maid was saying to Mama, "Those chicken alive?" They seem to be walking into the pundit's room all the time. And then that same day, Gloria, and Jagannath, and Sintra, they all came into the room. And I'm looking at Gloria. And Gloria is looking at the chicken and she's laughing. She said, when is the last time you see a big one like that? And we're laughing, talking about the chicken. And to me, the Bhagavad will not be the Bhagavad without those chickens. They didn't walk and go anywhere, coincidentally. In this Bhagavad, they remained fixed. But you know what happened? Something amazing happened. Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. You know what happened? I said to the close members of the bring pictures. We built a stage with steps. Because the Bhagavad is supposed to help us to climb the ladder of spirituality. 7 main steps, 7 joints of the bamboo, mukti, salvation, they all match, they synchronize. And when they brought Gloria's picture, the only place that was available was to lean it upon that chicken. And when they placed the picture there and I saw it, immediately I started to cry and I walked away. I just walked away. Because it did not make 1 year since she left us. It did not make an entire year. And if she was alive, she will be here in every session of the Bhagavad. They are like the pillars. They are my support. They're the people who helped me into becoming who I am. When there was nobody, that's who there was. And when I saw that picture leaning there, I said in my mind, she's here. She came to the Bhagavad. There is somebody else who is very special that came to the Bhagavad too. Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. In this picture, it is an image of my grandmother, whom I owe a debt of gratitude to. For a while, Auntie Radhika would have been my support through university and work, and she would have been my support through school. And mind you, there wasn't a single thing that I would have asked for that she would have never given to me. She has 1 son, and she gave all my grandfather's jewelry to me. She has 6 daughters, and she gave her bracelets to me. In her good days, she supported me, and in her down days, I supported her. It's a pity she has children, but they did not learn much from her. I don't want to say more about that, but I can't begin to comprehend what her feeling would have been like if she was alive and she knew that we were having this Bhagavad. I can't. And what would have killed her the most is knowing that we are having the Bhagavad close to her house, but not in her house. But greed and selfishness and authority and power, crave. The Bhagavad teaches you nothing in this world belongs to you. Live in the world, but not of the world. Do not become attached to the things of the world. I remember the day of my journey, she looked at me and she said, shine. She and I, lying on the bed, she had a unique way in the night time. She'll take her finger, and as though she's writing. And I said, what are you drawing in the sky? And she said, I'm writing good luck. I said, good luck to who? She didn't answer. She began singing. Pratna sun lo hamar Prabhu, prem se karta bhukar Prabhu, prem se karta bhukar Prabhu, prem se karta bhukar Prabhu. She taught me, listen to my prayer, oh Lord, dear Lord, I am singing praises to you with love. I am singing praises to you with love. I am singing praises to you with love. She's smiling in this picture, you see? But she was a very serious person. Very serious. But I could get away with anything. That's why I'm the way I am. And while many people have to fight and wonder who she loved the most, I know she loved me. I knew that. That's why when she died, a big part of me died. That's why every single day of my life, I pray for her. And I ask and I beg that wherever her soul is, that she will experience happiness and bliss. While you have your mothers, show love and affection. Because a day will come when mother will not be here. I remember the hardest thing I've ever had to do. I cremated my father when I was just 7 years old. But the hardest thing I've ever had to do was to cremate this lady. Where I stood not as her grandson but as her pundit and officiated at her funeral. Because this was her request. And when that body was about to be placed in the chitta, and I recognized that this was going to be the end, I held on to her, and there was nothing I could do at that point to save her. But this was just the end of her existence, but a new beginning. But because of the attachment, difficult to let go. Till today I am not let go. Till today, the people who I think should be my support, they're my biggest critics. But while they have tried to sink me, I reminded myself I must cease and I will grow. When anybody tries to sink you, always remember you are seed, grow. I owe a debt of gratitude to my mother, who has sacrificed her entire life into making sure that my brother and I, we never lacked or needed anything. My mother filled the post of father and mother because my father died at a very tender age. Ma, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for always being the listening ear. Thank you for always being my best friend. Thank you for being the person that I could tell all my stories. And thank you for being that person whom I can depend on in my most down moments. I want to tell you that Scripture has declared that God is mother. But you have proven that God is mother. Through the very aura that you possess. She couldn't get time off to come. And her bosses afforded her the opportunity that she will come just to spend my birthday with me. And I want to say thank you for coming. She traveled last night. And so she's here tonight. I want to say thank you. And I want to say God bless you. I have a brother. They spoke about him today. You really don't want to meet him. He's nothing like me. He's looking on. I'll be in trouble for saying this. He doesn't talk. And when I say to him, why you don't talk? He said, well, you don't give nobody a chance. But maybe that's true. Maybe that's true. This evening, to all of you, I want to say that I love you. And to all of you, I want to tell you that I am who I am and what I am because of you. You are my strength. And just as when you turn on the television and you see me, you become attracted and you want to listen. And in that very same way, I wish that I could be in the company of everybody all the time. But it's impossible because I'm just one. But never for one moment doubt that I love you, just the way you love me. And never for one moment know or doubt that I will ever let you down. Because once it is within my power I will always be your support and your strength. This evening, I want to say thank you to the Ganesh Utsav Foundation and the Ganesh Utsav family. Thank you. I saw inside that there are more than 20 birthday cakes. I got dizzy when I saw the different colors and sizes and shapes, and I got... Granny, I hope you stick your teeth good. We have plenty cake to eat tonight. You hear me? My number one critic and my best friend is Granny. We do the Facebook Live and you'll swear she is retarded or something is wrong because she plays the role so well. I say to her, I want peas and aloo curry. Can you make that? I go upstairs and she's making peas and aloo. She's cooking aloo and peas in 2 separate pots, curry. I said, so why didn't you cook it in one? She said, you say you want peas and aloo. You never say you want it together. Mix it together and you'll get peas and aloo. But tonight, mixing together the emotion of pain and the emotion of love, I want to tell you this surprise. The surprise is that the Ganesh Utsav Foundation and myself, this is the first of 7 Bhagwat Yagnas that we are going to host. It is the first of 7 Bhagwat Yagnas that we are going to host. You are invited next year as we celebrate in the month of June not only birthdays but existence. You are invited to join with us. The only thing that might change is the location. Once we have our temple, then the Bhagavad will happen there. But in the meanwhile, this is Bhagwat Central, the home of the Bhagavad. In the meanwhile, surprise! This has brought us to the end of our devotions this evening. Tomorrow morning we commence at 9 o'clock. Join with us. Then at 2 o'clock again, and then from 7 to 9. The Yagya comes to an end, the Bhagwat Yagya comes to an end on Sunday morning, where my mother and the ladies of the group, they'll be doing the Godan ceremony. The symbolic act of giving the go in Dan. One of the noble charities that we can give as Sanatana Hindus. The explanations of the Gaudan will be done by Ari on Sunday morning, and she's going to tell about the Gaudan and the different types of dance that should be given, etc. And there are 5 major Gaudans that should be done during our lifetime, and we'll give the explanation as the time progresses. But many beautiful things to look forward to. If you're coming to the end of the Bhagavad, I want you to come as much as you can. And when you're coming, bring somebody with you. As we bask in the glories of Bhagwan Krishna, as we listen to the glories of Lord Krishna. As now he has taken birth, we'll listen. You think I'm mischievous? We'll listen to mischievous as narrated in Bhagavad Gita by Sukdev Muni to Raja Parikshit. Let us all stand as we join in the Aarti. Tonight, I dedicate the Aarti to Gloria. Tonight, I dedicate the Aarti to my beloved grandmother. Wherever their souls are, may Bhagwan afford unto them comfort and peace. Bhagwat Aarti. Clap your hands with me, everybody. जय भागवतम जय 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 भागवतम
जय 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 भागवतम जय 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 भागवतम
जय 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 भागवतम जय 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 भागवतम
जय 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 भागवतम जय 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 भागवतम
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती
पापियों को
पंतये पंचम वेद निराला, नव ज्योति जगाने वाला।
ये अमर ग्रंथ ये मोक्ष पंथ ये पंचम वेद निराला, नव ज्योति जगाने वाला।
हरि गान ही वरदान यही, जग के मंगल की आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती,
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
ये शांति दीप पावन पुनीत पाको पुमिताने वाला, हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला।
ये शांति गीत पावन पुनीत पापों को मिटाने वाला, हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला।
ये सुख करनी हे दुख हरणी,
ये सुख करनी ये दुख हरनी।
ये मधुसूदन की आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती,
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
ये मधुर बोल जगपंत बोल, सनमार दिखाने वाला, मिगरी को बनाने वाला।
ये मधुर बोल जगपंत बोल, सन्माद दिखाने वाला, मिगरी को बनाने वाला।
श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही, श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही, सबकी महिमा की आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती,
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय 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 भागवतम, जय 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 भागवतम।
जय 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 भागवतम, जय 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 भागवतम।
जय 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 भागवतम, जय 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 भागवतम।
जय 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 भागवतम, जय 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 भागवतम।
असतो मां सद्गम्यातं सोमा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृति स्वभावत् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं तस्मै नारायणाय समर्पयामि। मेरे souls of the Pitras be blessed. अनादिनीदनो देवा शंख चक्र गराक्ष पुंडरीकाक्ष प्रेत मोक्ष प्रदोर्भव। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव, त्वमेव बन्धो स्वसखा त्वमेव, त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव, त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव। अच्युतं केशवं रामनारायणं कृष्ण दामोदरं वासुदेवं हरि श्रीधरं माधवं गोपिका वल्लभं जानकी नायकं रामचन्द्र भजे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे। यो शांति अंतरिक्षं शांति पृथ्वी शांति आपा शांति, ओषधे शांति वनस्पते शांति, विश्वदेवा शांति, ब्रह्मा शांति, सर्वं शांति, शांतिरेव शांति सामा शांतिरिध्ये भवतु। यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत, अभ्युत्थानं धर्मस्य तदात्मानं स्मराम्यहम्। परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां, धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। बोलो नाथ की जय। बोलो भाई सब संतने की जय। सियापति वृंदावन में हरिलाल की। सीताराम 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 कहे जाहे भी राखे रामा, जाहे भी राखे रामा, ताहे भी रहे। सीताराम 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 सीताराम। Turn to the person next to you, in front of him, behind you. Tell them, God bless you. Achyutam Keshavam Krishna Damodaram, Achyutam Keshavam Krishna Damodaram, Rama Narayanam Janaki Vallabham, Rama Narayanam Janaki Vallabham, Achyutam Keshavam Krishna Damodaram, Achyutam Keshavam Krishna Damodaram, Narayanam Janaki Vallabham, Rama Narayanam Janaki Vallabham, Achyutam Keshavam Krishna Damodaram, Achyutam Keshavam Krishna Damodaram, Rama Narayanam Janaki Vallabham, Rama Narayanam Janaki Vallabham. Singing icon Bujram Bolas is here with us. He has always been very supportive of me and the group, and he has always been very supportive. And so to him this evening, we say thank you for taking the time to come and join with us. But there is one request that I have. I can't sing this bhajan as good as you. I want you to sing that bhajan. Sukadeva kahe muni gyani, sunabhupa bhagavat bhani. And so as the aarti is coming, Panchamrit, the Parsad, meals are provided for one and all. Please do stay and partake of the refreshments. I know it is a little late, but we have a lot of food that has been prepared, and you must stay and eat. That is the only way our yajna will bring forth fruits and blessings. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning as the yajna continues. And so, please come, and when you're coming, bring somebody with you as we listen to the glories of Bhagwan Vishnu. This evening, I want to say thank you to all of you for coming. I want you to give yourselves a round of applause this evening. And so I look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning, and for the rest of the evenings as we take a spiritual bath in the Bhagavad Mahapuran. We dedicate this final rendition to the souls of the Pitris. This rendition, not final, but this rendition, and then Sintra will sing something, and another surprise, I will dance. So we join in the beautiful bhajan. We pray that wherever the souls of the Pitras are, may they be blessed.
Hari Om Narayanaaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namah. Sukadeva kahe muni gyani, suno bhupa bhagavat bani. 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 Suno bhupa bhagavat bani. Sukadeva kahe muni gyani, suno bhupa bhagavat bani. सुख दुख और जीवन मरना सब अपना करना भरना। सुख दुख और जीवन मरना कब अपना करना भरना, सब अपना करना भरना। कोई करत न किसी हानि, सुन भूप भागवत वाणी। सुखदेव कहे मुनि ज्ञानी, सुन भूप भागवत वाणी। यहाँ दूसर भव जल धारा, बिन भजन न हो निस्तारा। यहाँ दूसर भव जल धारा, बिन भजन न हो निस्तारा। बिन भजन न हो निस्तारा। हरि नाम सुमर सुख खानी, सुन भूप भागवत वाणी। सुखदेव कहे मुनि ज्ञानी, सुन भूप भागवत वाणी। सुर नर पशु जीव जहाना, नहीं वेद कल्प नहीं नाना। सुर नर पशु जीव जहाना, नहीं वेद कल्प नहीं नाना। नहीं वेद कल्प नहीं नाना। सब एक ब्रह्मा न जानी, सुन भूप भागवत वाणी। सुखदेव कहे यह जीव अमर सुख राशि, तन भंगुर हे विनाशी। यह जीव अमर सुख राशि, तन भंगुर हे विनाशी। तन भंगुर हे विनाशी। ब्रह्मानंद छोर अभिमानी, सुन भूप भागवत वाणी। सुखदेव कहे मुनि ज्ञानी, सुन भूप भागवत वाणी। सुखदेव कहे मुनि ज्ञानी, सुन भूप भागवत वाणी।
Satya Sanatan Dharma ki jai. I'm happy that you're coming to see me. Please do not get offended. No hugs. No hugs and no kisses. There is COVID.
What? Just don't want to All right, so one of my friends was telling me, he said, boy, and I know you're young, around thing for years, and I want to sing the song tonight. You can sing it there, no problem. Sing it. Nanda Baba Ji ko chaya, rakho Ram hai kanhaiya. राखो राम है कन्हैया. अरे नंद बाबा जी को छैया, बाबू नाम है कन्हैया. नंद बाबा जी को छैया, बाबू नाम है कन्हैया. कन्हैया कन्हैया रे ओ नंद बाबा. सोने के गेंद सोने का बल्ला, गेंद में सोने को लागे उछला. सोने के गेंद है कान्हा रे, सोने के गेंद है सोने का बल्ला, गेंद में सोने को लागे उछला. बाल बाल संग खेलन आए, बाल बाल संग खेलन, परसिदाता थैया कन्हैया ओ गोरा कन्हैया कन्हैया. ओ नंद बाबा जी को थैया, बाबू नाम है कन्हैया कन्हैया. काहे के गेंद काहे का बल्ला, गेंद में काहे को लागे उछला. काहे के गेंद है कान्हा रे, काहे के गेंद है काहे का बल्ला, गेंद में काहे को लागे उछला. ग्वाल बाल सब खेलन आए, ग्वाल बाल सब खेलन, परसिदाता थैया ओ गोरा कन्हैया कन्हैया. ओ नंद बाबा जी को थैया, कन्हैया कन्हैया रे. नीले जमुना नीले गगन नीले गगन, नीले जमुना नीले गगन. ओ सखी बाजे पर पैदली, सखी बाजे पर पैदली, गिरता ना 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 गिरता ना 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 बाजे सखी पर पैदली. नीले जमुना नीले गगन नीले गगन, नीले जमुना नीले गगन, जमुना 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 नीले गगन नीले गगन नीले गगन है. नील कन्हैया नील गगन है, नील कन्हैया नील गगन. सुबह शाम खेलन आए, सुबह शाम खेलन आए, परसिदाता थैया कन्हैया ओ गोरा कन्हैया कन्हैया. ओ नंद बाबा जी को थैया, बाबू नाम है कन्हैया. कन्हैया कन्हैया रे ओरे कन्हैया कन्हैया रे ओरे कन्हैया कान्हा रे. Long time years ago, a few years boy. What? Sankhya. This song I made in India during my stay for 90 days, performing for Trinidad and coming post in India. And this is what we did. A song from Trinidad, not from India, so they couldn't attack us. Sankhya, lagal kanhaiya, अरे गोकुला चली जाओ संगे लागल, गोकुला चली जाओ संगे लागल कन्हैया, संगे लागल कन्हैया, संगे लागल कन्हैया, संगे लागल आहा गोकुला चली जाओ संगे लागल, अरे गोकुला चली जाओ। भूख लगे भोजन का पैयो, भूख लगे अरे भूखा लगे, भूख लगे भोजन का पैयो, तो हूँ भूख न मली जाव रे, अरे तो हूँ भूख न मली जाव रे, गोकुला चली जाओ संगे लागल, हाँ गोकुला चली जाओ। प्यासा लगे पनिया का पैयो, प्यासा लगे प्यास लगे परिया का पैयो, कहूँ प्यास मली जावरे, कहूँ प्यास मली जावरे कन्हैया, गोकुला चली जाओ संगे लागल, हाँ गोकुला चली जाओ। अमल लगे बिरुआ का पैयो, अमल लगे अरे अमल लगे, अमल लगे बिरुआ का पैयो, कहूँ अमल मली जावरे, अरे तो अमल मली जावरे कन्हैया, गोकुला चली जाओ, गोकुला चली जाओ संगे लागल, गोकुला चली जाओ। हार गोरी जमुना हिलोरे, झूलनिया ले गे मछलिया, हार गोरी जमुना हिलोरे, झूलनिया ले गे मछलिया, हार गोरी ले गे मछलिया रे, ले गे मछलिया, ले गे मछलिया, हाँ ले गे, हार गोरी जमुना हिलोरे, झूलनिया ले गे मछलिया। साथ मरे खोजे चतुर खोजवावे, साथ मरे खोजे साथ मरे खोजे चतुर खोजवावे, अरे तैया लगावे माजाल, दुल्हनिया ले गे, हार गोरी जमुना हिलोरे, हार गोरी जमुना हिलोरे, दुल्हनिया ले गे मछलिया। जेत मरे खोजे जेतनी खोजवावे, जेत मरे खोजे मरे खोजे जेतनी खोजवावे, अरे तैया लगावे माता, दुल्हनिया ले गे, आर गोरी जमुना हिलो रे, आर गोरी जमुना हिलो रे, दुल्हनिया देगे मतली। देवर मोरे खोजे रानी को जवाबे, देवर मोरे खोजे देवरानी को जवाब। अरे तैया 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 तैया, अरे तैया मोरे खोजे मताल दिया बार के, गन मोर गिर गए नदिया, गन मोर गिर गए। देवर मोरे खोजे देवरानी को जवाबे, अरे तैया मोरे खोजे मकाल दिया बार के, गगन मोर गिर गए नदिया। साथ मोरे खोजे ससुरा खोजवावे, साथ मोरे खोजे, साथ मोरे खोजे ससुरा खोजवावे। अरे तैया मोरे तैया मोरे तैया मोरे तैया, तैया मोरे तैया मोरे तैया मोरे खोजे मसाल दिया, गगन मोर गिर गए, गगन मोर गिर गए नदिया किनारे। अंगनैया तेरा मोरे लौटी गए, अंगनैया तेरा मोरे, अरे लौटी गए राम लौटी गए, लौट गए राम लौटी गए। अंगनैया अंगनैया तेरा मोरे लौटी, अंगनैया। अरे जब हम जाने घरे रामा यही है, जब हम जाने घरे रामा यही है। अच्छे अच्छे भोजन, अच्छे अच्छे भोजन, अच्छे अच्छे भोजन बनाए रखती अंगनैया, अंगनैया तेरा मोरे। अरे लौटी गए राम लौटी गए, लौट गए राम लौटी गए। अंगनैया अंगनैया तेरा मोरे। अरे जो हम जाने घर रामा जी आइए, जो हम जाने घर रामा जी आए। अच्छे अच्छे पिरवा, अच्छे अच्छे पिरवा, अच्छे अच्छे पिरवा जो राय रखती रे अंगनैया, वो अंगनैया तेरा मोरे लौटी, लौटी गए राम लौटी गए, लौटी गए राम लौटी गए। अंगनैया अंगनैया तेरा मोरे लौटी गए। अरे जब हम जाने घर रामा यही है, जब हम जाने घर रामा जी फूलन के सजिया, फूलन के सजिया, फूलन के सजिया बनाए रखती रे अंगनैया, अंगनैया तेरा मोरे लौटी। अरे लौटी गए राम लौटी गए, लौट गए राम लौटी गए। अंगनैया अंगनैया तेरा मोरे, अंगनैया तेरा मोरे लौटी गए, अंगनैया तेरा मोरे।
One, two. This is an announcement, ladies and gentlemen. We found a pair of keys for a vehicle.
Sankhya Television is not only the first Hindu TV station in Trinidad and Tobago, but Sankhya TV also has the most coverage. You can find Sankhya Television on YouTube by searching for Sankhya Television. On the
All right. Check one. All right, this is a new one that I've extracted from the Ramayana session, and very soon it will be recorded to be played all over Trinidad. And the bhajan is said that Mandurari and Ravan and Ram and Sita, those were the four persons that I took from the extract. And it said, O हाथ जोड़े मजोदर रानी मिलनवा कैले राम से सीता माता जगत कुमारानी मिलनवा कैले राम से पिया श्री राम जगत को भगवान मिलनवा कैले राम बड़े अभिमानी रावण राजा बड़े अभिमानी करे बड़े अभिमानी रावण राजा बड़े अभिमानी करे रावण बोले सुनो मंदोदरी हम राम से युद्ध करे मिलनवा कैले राम से पिया सीता माता जगत वो महारानी मिलनवा कैले राम बड़े अभिमानी रावण राजा बड़े अभिमानी करे बड़े अभिमानी रावण राजा बड़े अभिमानी करे राम के सेना रावण सेना लंकान फिरे मिलनवा कैले राम से सीता माता जगत महारानी कटिका शीत गिरे उठी उठी रुंद करे ब्रह्मा की बरदानी रावण मारे ना मरे और नाभि में जब तीर चलावे रावण की पले मिलनवा कैले राम सीता माता जगत महारानी श्री राम जगत भगवान मिलनवा कैले बड़े अभिमानी रावण राजा बड़े अभिमान करे राम के सैना रावण सैना लंका न भिरे मिलनवा कैले राम ओ सीता माता जगत महारानी मिलनवा कैले श्री राम जगत भगवान ओ श्री राम जगत भगवान हाथ जोड़े बजोदर रानी मिलनवा कैले राम से पिया सीता माता जगत वो महारानी मिलनवा कैले राम से पिया श्री राम जगत वो भगवान मिलनवा कैले राम सुना लागे all right I request what suna lagi boy मैया की ममता तज तज बाबा का प्यार.
So this one is dedicated to the Baba.
ग्वाल बाल की मित्र का गोपियन के मनहा तज से है परिवार को तज मुरली की तार अपनों से मुख मोर के मथुरा चले रे श्याम. सुन सुन लगी बिरज का धाम गोकुल का छोर चले रे घनश्याम. सुन सुन लगी बिरज का धाम गोकुल का छोर चले रे घनश्याम. यमुना रोए मधुबन रोए रोए कदम की थैया ओ रोए कदम की थैया. भर भर नैना रोए रे गवाले भर भर नैना रोए रे गवाले रोए बिरज की गैया. राह रोग कर रोए मन सुखा हो राह रोग कर रोए मन सुखा बिछड़ रहे मेरे श्याम रे. सुन सुन लागी बिरज का धाम गोकुल का छोर चले रे घनश्याम. बोल सकीना घर के पंछी असवन से भरनैना असवन से भरनैना. आजा कान्हा नाजा कान्हा नाजा कान्हा ओ आजा कान्हा नाजा कान्हा भूखे रे पिंजरे मैना. नदिया रोए गिरवर रोए लेता नाता नाम. सुन सुन लागी रज का धाम गोकुल का छोर चले रे घनश्याम. सुन सुन लागी गोकुल का छोर चले. प्रेम दीवानी राधा रानी भर नैनन में पानी आ प्रेम दीवानी राधा रानी भर नैनन में पानी. सुबक सुबक कहे हाय रे कान्हा हाय रे कान्हा ओ सुबक सुबक कहे हाय रे कान्हा सुन बिरहा की चीर न जानी. कैसे कटेगी तुम बिन साथी जीवन का अब शाम रे न सुन लगी गज का धाम गोकुल कठोर चले रे घनश्याम न सुन लगी गज का धाम गोकुल कठोर चले रे घनश्याम गोकुल कठोर. Now I'll give it 2 lines in a teaser. This is the $1 billion song, and it's just Bobby started to write into a film song road, and it's going nuts landing. As you sing this song, Yari teri yara ko, and that road the song was, and hear what the song says in English. Anytime you walk out my door. You say that? Anytime you walk out my door, I don't think I want you anymore. And when you step out of my gap, I don't ever want you back. So this is a new, groovy chutney we are arranging. Writer Brianna Sami, Karlin Rupnarayan, and I think the tune was done by another girl. But they choose that I should sing the song for them. So they're still writing, but it's a very nice song, and it will be a crossover like, when you wake up in the morning, me I tell you nothing. You get up in a rage and you start quarreling. I don't think I love you anymore. You better pass to the back door. Anytime you walk out the door, I don't think I love you anymore. Let's go with that new one. One. Pass it. Go right pass.
160.
Yeah, Hindi. No English. But I can write calypso too, So let's go Bhojpuri style. Bhojpuri style is saying, Are hame jana hai. Oh, hame jana hai. One of the biggest markets in India. That's why I wrote this song. Oh, Lakhnawa Bazar, hame jana. Lakhnawa Bazar, hame jana hai, jana hai, jana. Hame jana hai, jana hai. Lakhnawa Bazar. Nale ve kalwa, nale ve kalwa, nale ve kalwa. Gunguru ji ne yaar, Gunguru ji ne yaar, hame lena, hame jana hai, jana hai. Lakhnawa Bazar. Nale ve toliar, nale ve tunarin. Sinduradi ne yaar, Sinduradi ne yaar. Hame lena, hame jana hai, jana. Hame jana hai, jana hai, jana. Lakhnawa Bazar. में ढोला डाले कदम को डाल. डीजे बनी समय मदन के प्यार का चले कवन में ढोल डाले कदम को दान प्यार का चले सावन में
Sankhya Television is not only the first Hindu TV station in Trinidad and Tobago, but Sankhya TV also has the most coverage. You can find Sankhya TV on Facebook by searching for Sankhya Television. Sankhya Television is not only the first Hindu TV station in Trinidad and Tobago, but Sankhya TV also has the most coverage. You can find Sankhya TV on Facebook by searching for Sankhya Television. There you can view Sankhya TV Facebook Lives for all exclusive programming and all Sankhya TV play